If you've been following employment-based immigration lately, you've probably seen the panic spreading online. EB1 retrogression is here. Priority dates are going backwards. Green card dreams are being delayed. People are confused, frustrated, and honestly, many are terrified that years of waiting just got even longer. I know this feels overwhelming, but before you spiral into worst-case scenarios, let me walk you through exactly what happened, what it actually means for you, and most importantly, what you should do right now. I'm Saqib, and you're watching Global Immigration Updates, where we break down immigration news without the rumors, without the hype, and always with the facts. So let's talk about the February 2026 Visa Bulletin. Yes, EB1 retrogression is confirmed. But what does that actually mean? Let me explain it in the simplest way possible. Every year, the United States issues a limited number of employment-based green cards. These are divided into categories. EB1 is for people with extraordinary ability, outstanding professors and researchers, and multinational executives. For years, EB1 has been current for most countries, meaning if your priority date was established, you could move forward with your green card application without waiting. But that just changed. The February 2026 Visa Bulletin shows that EB1 is now retrogressed. That means demand has exceeded supply. USCIS and the State Department are now imposing cutoff dates. If your priority date is earlier than the cutoff, you can proceed. If it's later, you wait. Now, here's where people get confused. Retrogression does not mean the category is closed. It does not mean your case is denied. It does not mean you lost your place in line. It simply means the line is now moving slower, because more people are in it than there are visas available this year. Let me be very clear about who this affects. If you are from India or China and you filed under EB1, you have likely been dealing with backlogs for a while, so this may not be entirely new to you. But if you are from a country that has historically been current in EB1, like most of Europe, South America, Africa, or rest of world categories, this is a significant change. Your priority date now matters. You may not be able to adjust status or get your immigrant visa immediately, even if everything else is ready. If you have already filed your I-485 and your priority date is current, you are generally okay. Your case will continue to be processed. But if you were planning to file soon and your priority date falls after the cutoff, you will have to wait until your date becomes current again. Here's what's been circulating online that you need to ignore. Some people are saying EB1 is dead. That is not true. Some are saying this is permanent. Also not true. Retrogression is based on visa availability, which resets every fiscal year on October 1st. Others are claiming this is because of a specific executive action or new law. As of now, this is simply a supply and demand issue within the existing system. Let's talk about the winners and losers, because not everyone is impacted the same way. If your priority date is before the cutoff date listed in the bulletin, you are in a good position. You can move forward. If you already have your green card or you're in a different category like EB2 with an approved national interest waiver and your date is current, this doesn't affect you. If you're on H-1B and your employer is willing to continue sponsoring you, you still have valid status while you wait. Now the losers. If you were counting on EB1 being current and you were about to file your I-485, this is a major setback. If you're on a visa that's about to expire and you were relying on employment authorization from a pending I-485, this creates serious complications. If you've been waiting for years in EB2 and were hoping to upgrade to EB1 to skip the line, that strategy just became much less effective. Families are also impacted. Spouses and children under 21 are derivatives on your case. If your child is aging out, meaning they're about to turn 21, this retrogression could push them out of eligibility unless you qualify for protections under the Child Status Protection Act. This is something you need to discuss immediately with an immigration attorney. So what should you do right now? First, check the official Visa Bulletin on the State Department website. Do not rely on screenshots or summaries from social media. Look at both the final action date chart and the dates for filing chart. Your eligibility depends on which chart USCIS is using for your category, and they announce that every month. Second, if your priority date is close to the cutoff, stay ready. Visa Bulletin dates can move forward or backward depending on demand and visa availability. Have your documents prepared, your medical exam done if possible, and your attorney on standby. Third, do not make any major decisions out of panic. Do not abandon your case. Do not assume you need to switch categories or start over unless you've consulted with a qualified immigration attorney who understands your specific situation. If you're employed and your status is stable, continue working. Stay in legal status, follow the rules. That is your priority. If your employer is supportive, talk to them about your situation. Some companies have legal teams that can help you navigate this. If you are planning to travel internationally, be extremely cautious. If you have a pending I-485 and you leave the U.S. without advance parole, your application could be considered abandoned. If you're on H-1B or L-1 and you have a valid visa stamp, you may be okay, but consult your attorney before you book anything. Now let me address something important. Immigration laws do not change overnight. Even when policies shift, there is almost always a process. There are notices, comment periods, implementation timelines. Retrogression in the Visa Bulletin is not a new law. It is an administrative function based on existing law and visa number availability. It happens regularly in EB2 and EB3, and now it's happening in EB1. This does not mean your case is doomed. This does not mean the system is collapsing. It means you are in a competitive category and you need to be patient and informed. Here's the bigger picture. Retrogression often leads to conversations in Congress about increasing visa numbers or reforming the employment-based system. It puts pressure on lawmakers to act. Will that happen soon? I can't predict that. But historically, backlogs have led to policy discussions. Stay informed, but don't hang your hopes on speculation. One more thing. If you see someone online saying they have insider information or a shortcut around retrogression, be very skeptical. There are no shortcuts in immigration. There are legal strategies, yes, but anything that sounds too good to be true probably is. Scammers thrive on fear and urgency. Protect yourself by only working with licensed attorneys and checking official sources. Let me also say this. I know how hard this is. Many of you have been waiting for years. You've invested money, time, emotional energy. You've put your life on hold. You've made sacrifices. And now the finish line just moved further away. That is incredibly frustrating, and your feelings are completely valid. But giving up is not the answer. Staying informed, staying in status, and continuing to move forward strategically is. If you need help understanding your priority date, your category, or your options, talk to an immigration attorney, not a consultant, not a friend who went through the process 5 years ago, an actual licensed attorney who is up to date on current policy. It is worth the investment. So to summarize, EB1 retrogression is real. It is confirmed in the February 2026 Visa Bulletin. It affects people whose priority dates fall after the cutoff. It does not affect people who are already current or who have different categories with earlier dates. It is not permanent. It is not the end of your case. It is a delay, and delays are frustrating, but they are part of the system. Check the official Visa Bulletin every month. Stay in legal status. Keep your documents ready. Do not panic. Do not make rash decisions. And most importantly, do not let fear or misinformation control your next steps. If this video helped you understand what's happening, please subscribe to Global Immigration Updates and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Share this video with anyone you know who might be worried or confused about EB1 retrogression. And if you have questions about your own case or other immigration topics you want me to cover, leave them in the comments below. I read them, and I use them to plan future videos. Immigration is complicated, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Stay informed, stay calm, and trust the process. I'll see you in the next update. So,